Welcome to the Brickstore Museum's Propaganda Piece, a web series talking about the 20th century war propaganda posters in our collection and the effects of propaganda yesterday and today. The definition of propaganda is this: the dissemination of information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, to influence public opinion or promote a political cause or point of view, often conveyed through mass media. The intentional shaping of public opinion has existed for thousands of years. Propaganda is the systematic manipulation of other people's beliefs, attitudes, and actions using symbols that include words, gestures, art, or music, and anyone, individuals, governments, organizations, or groups, can practice propaganda when they deliberately select facts and symbols to influence masses toward an end goal. To maximize effects of their message, propagandists omit or distort other pertinent facts, or sometimes even lie. In the 20th century, propaganda took a widespread and central role in our history. When you think of propaganda, you may think of Nazi Germany in the 1940s or George Orwell's novel 1984. You might not think of how the United States also took part in this practice. As we explore today's poster, ask yourself, is this good or bad propaganda? The intent behind propaganda is not all bad or all good. But because propaganda most often is affiliated with war and politics, it is generally viewed as negative. But it can be neutral or even positive. In fact, after World War II, the advertising industry rebranded propaganda as public relations, focusing on how consumers were motivated to buy products. Speaking about propaganda, John F. Kennedy once said, "No matter how big the lie, repeat it often enough, and the masses will regard it as the truth." Throughout history, propaganda has been used to manipulate and deceive the masses, suppress dissent, and maintain control over populations. Hello, I'm Cynthia Walker, your narrator today and the director of the Brickstore Museum. Seen here in this picture is The Art of Propaganda, one of our most recent exhibitions in fall 2024. Propaganda posters during both World Wars were an essential tool for disseminating information. They were relatively cheap to produce and could be plastered anywhere, from post offices to schools to sides of buildings. Many posters tugged at Americans' heartstrings with depictions of soldiers and their families, while others appealed to the population's sense of outrage by reminding viewers of the brutality of enemies. Some aimed to generate a sense of guilt or inspire fear. Still others encouraged seemingly harmless topics like reading or gardening. Now, let's take a look at today's featured poster. Today we're going to look at a poster called Americans All, created in 1919 by Howard Chandler Christie. In this poster's image, a Lady Liberty-like woman holds a victory wreath above the names of brave soldiers fighting overseas in this patriotic World War I poster. The litany of last names displayed on the war's honor roll on the right side of the poster is meant to evoke the diversity of America, with the last names reflecting many different nationalities supporting the war effort. The phrase "Americans all" asserts that many immigrant groups became soldiers and served the nation, and the same was asked of civilians at home by way of buying Victory Liberty loans. America's involvement in World War I was largely unanticipated and, of course, quite expensive. The U.S. government began soliciting bonds that everyday Americans could deposit to the cause to be paid back by the government when the war was over, with interest applied. This influx of cash allowed the U.S. to buy tanks, feed soldiers, and essentially finance a path to victory. The artist of the poster, Howard Chandler Christie, who lived from 1872 to 1952, was one of the most significant American illustrators in the early 1900s. He began a career as a battlefield artist during the Spanish-American War and became famous for creating a character called the Christie Girl, a beautiful, confident, and witty woman meant to represent the new American ideal. During World War I, he returned to battle depictions as well as poster design. Following the war, Christie became a very successful portrait artist, taking commissions from everyone from Teddy Roosevelt to Amelia Earhart.